All right, it is finally time. Super Bowl 59 is right around the corner from New Orleans. The matchup has been set. Let's talk about it. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be squaring off against the Philadelphia Eagles, a rematch of Super Bowl 57 nearly 2 years ago. And not a lot has changed from this matchup since then, but at the same time, it is still setting up to be a pretty damn good Super Bowl, like pretty much every Super Bowl is with the Chiefs playing in it. So I want for this, instead of this typical style do for predictions, I want to talk in depth about both teams. And we're going to begin with the team that is technically the road team, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. 15-2 season, another fantastic season from the Chiefs. And once again, they continue to just handle business during regular season and come playoff time, know how to turn it up a notch. They have yet to lose a one-score game this season, and in fact have not lost a one-score game since Christmas of 2023 when they lost to the Vegas Raiders. And that really does speak volume to the kind of caliber of team the Chiefs are. And of course, the key players for the Chiefs is really no hidden fact behind them. It's Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, their offensive line, their front seven, and I put Xavier Worthy on my list over here just because he's a rookie receiver that has been doing fantastically this season. And last week against the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game, he was a big reason why the Chiefs were able to win that game on top of all the other players I mentioned. And I'm grouping together the offensive line and the front seven for the single reason of every one of those pieces and every one of those players amongst those units are just there to do their jobs, and no one person truly stands out amongst the rest. Obviously, there's Chris Jones and George Karlaftis, but the rest of the front seven are just as talented and playing just as well. I mean, obviously slightly less compared to Chris Jones, but playing well also. And same goes for the offensive line, where Creed Humphrey is the main like center stone and cornerstone piece at the center position, but the rest of the offensive line has also been playing incredibly well this year. The thing that kind of surprised me when looking at the Chiefs for this season was the fact that their offense was not the greatest this year. I mean, they ranked 14th as a passing offense, 22nd as a rushing offense, and part of that is injuries to both the receiving unit and to the running back room. And since they have gotten healthier, they have been playing better in these playoffs in those compartments. And that kind of goes to show as well that they're ranked 15th in points this season and 16th in yards gained per game and yards this season. So their offense is roughly middle of the road, but that's honestly not too surprising with the Chiefs. For as much as we talk about how good their offense is and the talent that is Mahomes and Kelsey and everyone, really the Chiefs the past few years have been a very defensive minded team, at least during the regular season. And that is shown with their defensive rankings as well. 18th against the pass, which is the weakest point for their defense, but everything else is really solid. It is fourth for points, ninth for yards, and eighth for rushing. And so pretty much is going to show that the Chiefs defense is made to just bend, don't break, and lock it down when they need to. They might give up a big passing play here or there, but when it comes to short yardage situations, they're going to be able to stop the run, a top 10 unit against the run. And that's exactly the kind of unit you would hope for in a matchup like this going against Philadelphia and their style of offense. But this is still like a team that if you just look on it at if you just look at the Chiefs on paper through these rankings, they're nothing special. And the eye test on Sundays kind of goes to show it as well. Until you realize that that's kind of the point of the Chiefs. They're not supposed to blow you out the water with their play. And I mean, they can if they want to, but they're not supposed to do that. They're here to win games no matter how ugly of a win it is. And that goes back to them not having lost a one score game in a year and a half, basically. It is really impressive, and it's the reason why the Chiefs find themselves looking to three-peat and become the first team to three-peat. Now, on the flip side, the quote unquote home team of the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles. Last season did not go how they wanted it to, and they find themselves back in the Super Bowl the second time in 3 years, playing some really damn good football, but not in a style that saw the Eagles get to this point 2 years ago. What was once a really pass happy team that really like lived or died by the pass, it felt, has now became a very run heavy team and a team that lives or dies through Saquon Barkley's legs. Jalen Hurts is going to be a key component of this game because he needs, in theory, you want to see him be able to pass the ball more effectively in this one, similar to how he played against Washington the previous week, and that was a great sign of things. Plus, again, going against a pretty weak pass defense, I say pretty weak. It's still 18th. It's still a solid pass defense for the Chiefs. But really, if you're going to beat the Chiefs, you're probably going to want to be able to defeat them through the air as well. But again, Saquon Barkley is there. Easily the best player on the Eagles this season. An MVP caliber of season. Any other year, he probably would have won MVP. But it just goes to show the quality of this team. And I have over here that the passing offense for the Eagles was 29th, but compare that to their rushing offense, which ranked second. So completely different ends of the spectrum. 7th in points, and they ranked 8th in yards as an offense this year. Again, a really solid offensive showing, but it was through the ground game and not so much the passing game, which feels weird because of the amount of weapons they have. Devonta Smith and AJ Brown are fantastic receivers to have, and Dallas Goedert is a pretty damn good tight end. But the point of Philly's offense this season wasn't to beat you through the air. It was to beat you on the ground with both Jalen Hurts' legs, but primarily Saquon Barkley. They signed Saquon for this exact reason because just because last year, the Eagles did not have a solid ground game to rely on. So they asked Jalen Hurts to throw the ball a lot. And this year they changed that. They got Saquon Barkley. They have not been asking Jalen Hurts to throw the ball nearly as much. And it has led to a lot of success this year. Their defense also took a massive improvement compared to last season, and this might be the best Eagles defensive unit since their last Super Bowl win, an argument to be made about their last Super Bowl appearance. But they rank top 5 in damn near every single unit. They rank first in pass defense. They rank 10th in rush defense, first in yards allowed, second in points allowed. It's a top 10 defensive unit. And similar to how I said that the Chiefs' rush defense was exactly what you want going into this matchup, this is exactly the kind of defense you want going into a matchup like this if you're the Eagles. Again, I have the entire front seven listed as a key spot for the Eagles. Being able to get pressure on Mahomes is going to be massive and be able to get past that offensive line. Last time the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl, it was because of the poor play on the offensive line. So if Jalen Carter, if Nakobe Dean, and that entire unit as a whole, Brandon Graham might come back for this game, and that would be a massive addition for the Eagles to have. A really solid front seven is very important for a game like this, especially against the Chiefs of all opponents. Again, the biggest question, the biggest concern I have is, can Jalen Hurts throw the ball effectively? Last time these two teams played 2 years ago in the Super Bowl, he was able to pass the ball really well, but he had a crucial fumble that really turned the tide in this game. So the next thing is, who's going to win the turnover battle? And that's probably going to decide this game. The Chiefs haven't necessarily forced a lot of turnovers this season. They've just been playing some pretty damn solid football and forcing a lot of punts this year. Meanwhile, the Eagles and their secondary have been forcing quite a few turnovers this year. And it's a big factor, is also a big factor as to why they find themselves in this spot to begin with. I mean, look at how they played against Washington the previous week, forcing multiple key fumbles, and that set up the dominant showing that they had. So, both two teams looking to win the Super Bowl once again. The Chiefs looking to three-peat and claim Super Bowl number 5, I believe. It's either 5 or 6. I believe it's 5, but still an insane amount. And the Eagles looking to get their second. So who do I have coming up on top? This game is very hard to predict because of just the sheer fact that both teams play such different styles and have different philosophies that you really don't know what to expect on any given Sunday from them. Again, the Chiefs, they could play completely dominant show and lockdown defense, explosive offense any given Sunday, or they can decide, you know what, if we feel like the best way to win this game is to win 20-17. Meanwhile, the Eagles, you know they're going to try and run the ball, but even if they can't, you are still expecting Jalen Hurts and a passing offense to show up in some capacity. And if anything, their defense is going to be able to win them a game as well. I do have the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl nonetheless, just because they've been there. Their style just breathes for the playoffs. And I have hockey jersey behind me. It's in the NHL. There's teams that are built for the playoffs and teams that are built to get to the playoffs. The Chiefs are a team that's built for the playoffs, and they've shown it the past 2 years. And this is again, third year back here. They're not a team that's built for regular season play. They're a team that is built for the lights to be at its brightest. And there's no brighter stage than the Super Bowl and New Orleans this year. So I do have the Chiefs winning this one. But the Super Bowl is here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all on Sunday, February 9th for the Super Bowl. I will be live for it. And if you're watching this after the Super Bowl is up, Then I'll be live for the UFL beginning March 28th as well. I'll see you all then. Have yourselves a damn good one. Peace.